I'm Tim Bash. I'm with TB Industries. I am the owner and designer of the StormTop roll-off container covers. I'm here with Mike Morrison from NASCO-OP, and just going to give you a little presentation.
That's right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us. A little presentation on the StormTop covers. A very popular product right now, and one that is very helpful as far as it comes to the EPA protections.
Right. So we have 4 different styles of the StormTops, and we also have a quick cover I'll talk about at the end. But our first one is our standard StormTop cover. It's permanently mounts onto a roll-off container. So you pick which side you want it to open and close from, and that's the side it'll always be on. This one is mounted directly to the roll-off container. It travels down the road with the container. It just becomes part of it. There's no removing it or anything like that. This one, it's lockable. Comes with some locking chains on the far side of the container. It's EPA compliant, and they're very lightweight and easy to use. They're spring loaded. They've got roller systems in it, so the spring loading helps assist in the flipping it open and closed, and work pretty good.
I think people are going to be surprised. Obviously, they just saw the video here before this presentation. How little force is actually needed to open one of these? Anybody could open it.
Right. Yeah, I believe in the demonstration video, I'm using one hand for most of the pushing, pulling, flipping, and closing it. So it's and I'm not Arnold Schwarzenegger, so so yeah, they are fairly easy. Okay, yeah, the all the StormTops, but in particular the standard one, they opens to a full 90 degrees, gives you full access of the container. There's nothing that really protrudes across the container. This whole system attaches just at the hinge points. So where it connects is the part where it hinges, and everything lifts up and out of the way. So if you were to open that gate in the back and you wanted to drive a Bobcat into it, there'd be nothing obstructing access to it that way. So when you flip the cover open, the roller arms that the cover system rolls across flip up with it.
And that's very efficient, to where the customer can either get in there with material handler and get the material out, or they can open the door and take a skid loader, as you said, or a Bobcat, and get it all out of there that way.
Yeah, exactly. And all the covers go from 12 to 23 feet or any 3-inch increment in between. We do offer an extension kit to take it out to 26, but then that would be the maximum of the covers. If you have containers that are longer than that, you would need to put 2 covers on the container to cover it. And then if you do that, we do offer a gutter system that would attach to the container. It would allow any rainwater that tried to get in there between where the 2 covers meet, it would channel that water out to the sides.
Very nice. And that should cover most 20, 30, 40 yard containers.
Yeah, absolutely. The next cover we have is a removable. This cover operates the same as the standard one that we just looked at. The only difference is the hinge points do not attach to the container permanently bolt on. They have a clamp system that the hinges attach to, and then that clamp would slide over the rail of the container, and then you tighten it up and it secures itself underneath the rail. Then there's also fork pockets attached to it. So this cover system would work primarily if you had customers where you were switching out boxes that needed to have their box covered on site, but maybe the boxes are different height, different lengths a little bit. This would work good. You can set it up to a little bit longer size, and when they come to do the swap, you unclamp it, pick it off with a forklift, set it on the empty, they take the full one away. So it would stay at the location. And the idea of this cover is it does not travel down the road with the container.
And like it says here, it's quickly removed and mounted onto any container.
Yeah, and you'll see that on the demonstration video as well. It just takes a minute, and you can take it off and put it on the new one.
The fork pockets are very convenient.
Yeah, they are. And because this one clamps on, if your requirements change where maybe you had that opening off of one side of the container, and then somewhere on down the line you take this to a different customer and they really needed it to be open from the other side, they can take the forklift, pick it off there, set it on the other side of the container. It's just, it's real flexible that way.
Very good.
Yeah. Again, this one opens and closes the same way. It rolls back, it flips open to full 90 degrees, also goes from 12 to 23 3 feet long with the extension kit out to 26 and is EPA compliant. Then our next cover system is our standalone cover. This one is mounted to that stand system that you see in the slide, and it does not actually attach to the container itself. So you set it up for a certain height, anywhere from 47 to 99 inches tall. Again, lengths of 12 to 23 feet. But once it's set up for that height, all the containers need to be that height container. You can adjust it up and down again, but it's some wrenching, and you do need to reset it up for different height containers. So that works really well for, again, it stays on site, but for containers that are constantly having switch outs, but would always be bringing 30-yard containers in, or always 20 or always 40. You can't switch from a 20 to a 40 easily with this system. But again, go ahead.
Your best bet with that method would be to have a 30, have a 40 set up and have them set up next to each other to where you can slide the appropriate size underneath.
Right. Yeah, you could. Yep. Or if you did a stand system on the far side where those arms came down, so it hovered above it, that would be definitely possible too. That'd be a modification the customer would have to do depending on their needs. So, and again, this one opens and closes the same way to a full 90 degrees. Again, with this system, the driver can just roll it back, flip it open, swap the containers. He doesn't need to wait for the forklift driver or anything like that. And it is EPA compliant. Then the one thing I wanted to point out too is in this slide, you'll see there's like a concrete block slab that it's mounted to. The idea of this container would mount to a concrete parking lot. If you did not have concrete, we do sell a form that you could purchase. It all bolts together. It's got rebar in it and everything. You fill it with 1.5 yards of concrete, weighs about 4,500 pounds, and you can mount this system to that. So that'll give you your counterweight so the wind doesn't blow it over. And I think that will stand a 75 mile per hour wind. So that's handy if you've got an asphalt or gravel parking lot rather than concrete. That's standalone system can also be used with our automated option, which basically it's got an automated, almost a garage door type opener, very industrial garage door opener that's mounted to it. And as long as you have a 115 volt minimum 10 amp circuit, you can just plug it in, and there's a pendant that hangs there with an open and close button. So makes it easy. And since these are generally mounted as a permanently placed container, usually it might be worth the investment to set it up for the automated system. And again, it's still open a full 90 degrees and everything. Yeah.
We mentioned the light force earlier. Here you have a push button.
Right. So yep, if one hand operation is just too rigorous, we got the one finger operation here. So,
there you go. Plenty of options for everybody.
There you go. Then our last of the StormTop options is our Evo cover. Now this system here, basically can be open from either side of the container. So you mount the system on there and you decide at any given time which side you want it to open from. There's all four corners of this cover lock. There's some slide locks in there. So if you wanted to open it up, you need to just slide those locks open and you roll it towards that side of the container and it flips open. If you close it, re-slide those locks, you go to the other side and open those locks, it'll roll out and open that way. So it's real simple and easy. It can be swapped around, very, very simple.
This is whereas with the removable, you have to set it on the side you want. In this case, you can set it to either side. It can flip this way or it can flip this way.
Correct. Yep. So if this is being placed at a construction site where they just don't have access to turn the container around, but it needs to open a certain way, this would be an ideal option for that. And these also will go anywhere from 12 to 23 feet. Yeah, but the difference with them is they do have the rail systems are on the ends and are attached to the container. So if you swung the gate open, there would be that rail system would be covering access from one side to the other. But it's the only way to do it and be able to have it open from both sides.
Sure.
Again, still EPA compliant. It still gives you full access to the top of it. Containers can be dumped with the cover closed or open, either way.
That's another good point, and something that I get asked often when people are looking at these. Hey, can we dump it with this on? Absolutely, yes, you can.
Yeah. All the cover, the standard StormTop is also the same way. Mm-hmm. Open it or close it, either way. Here's a close-up of that lock system that are on all four corners. So you just basically, there's a little tether to make sure it doesn't come open when you're traveling. Undo that tether, flip the lock open, slide it to the right, and that corner's unlocked. You do the two corners on the side you want to open it, it rolls out, it flips open. And there's no way that cover can come out of there. Even if you had all four of them open and you forgot and you slid it closed and it kept rolling out the other side, it would just flip open. It wouldn't come out. And then also where that little chain tether is, that you could put a padlock in there. And if you lock any two opposite corners or one corner on either side of the container, it's locked. Nobody can get in there.
And that's another big use for the StormTops. Not only are they EPA compliant, not only is it going to keep things out of your materials or whatever you're storing, but it is anti-theft as well.
Correct. Yeah. All right. And then our last cover is our quick cover. They're lightweight. They're easy to use. It's our least expensive, simplest option to stay with the EPA compliance. These do allow full access from either side of the container. So you roll it back. Just grab that round handle and crank on it like a sardine can, and you roll it back to the frame that's clamped onto the end of the container, and then it gives you full access from either side. There are aluminum tubes that are attached every 2 feet along the length of the cover that cover the width of the container. So that's what spans it and keeps it taut. And then it won't allow water to build up and eventually get heavier and collapse into the container. So they work good. They're not quite as permanent of a solution as these StormTops, but they're durable. The liner or the plastic that we use for the cover is the same thing that they line landfills with. So it's very puncture resistant, very UV resistant, made to last.
And this is a much better application than, say, your typical tie-down tarp. Because of the rigid tubes, you have a very flat surface, and like you said, you're not going to get bows, you're not going to get low spots where water can collect and maybe roll in.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the idea of this one versus a tarp system is you do not travel down the road with this one.
Mm-hmm.
So it is because of the width of those handles, it's starting to get out over that 102-inch maximum. So the idea is it's gotta stay on site. So again, you swap out the container, you use a forklift to pull it off of the backs, you unclamp it, lift it off the forklift, put it on your new container, and you're ready to go. The other nice thing is we always leave extra material off the front of it, so your containers can vary in length. So basically we make this so it fits on a 23-foot container. So if you had an 18-foot one come in, you just have 5 extra feet of material hanging there. If you had a 20-foot one, there'll only be 3 extra feet. And then it doesn't matter as far as if they brought in a 20 one time and a 30 yard the next, it'll fit on there. That as long as they're 8 feet wide, that cover is very flexible to fit on any size container, up to a maximum of 84 inches in height. These are not intended to go on 40 yarders unless you were going to build a platform along the side of it. The 40 yard at 8 feet tall is just too high. You can't reach that handle to operate it. So their primary use would be 20 and 30 yard containers.
Okay, very good.
And then we also have a lift option. You mount that cover system onto this aluminum lift, crank on that crank. You'll see that in the demo video, and you can lower that down onto a container or lift it off, and that goes all the way from flush to the ground up to the 7-foot or 84-inch maximum height container that these would go on. So again, we wouldn't need a forklift. The driver could come, he could crank the thing off there, drop the empty, just wheel it over to the new one, lower it on there, and unroll the cover, and it's keeping stormwater out. So,
and the nice thing about this is if you just want access for a little bit of time, maybe you just need to pick some material out, you can roll it back, grab what you need, and then slide it right back over top.
Right.
Very easy to use.
Yeah. So that concludes the slideshow. If the demonstration doesn't show you everything that you, or if the demo videos don't show you everything you need, reach out to Mike at NASCO-OP or myself at TB Industries. You can find us.
We'd be happy to answer any questions you have, talk to you about the product, and see what the best fit for your need is. And really, that's what we want to do. Is we don't want to sell you something you don't need. We want to find the fit for your roll-offs.
Absolutely. All right. Thank
Tim,
you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to do the presentation. We're excited to have you. Guys, check out TB Industries StormTop container covers over at NASCO-OP.com.
Thanks.